let's have Vincent come up here and tell us about full frame virtual reality, and you know, be ready to ask some good questions.
Hello, guys. Just a disclaimer, Josh did give me some really good pointers yesterday that I didn't necessarily put into the slide. So heckling is absolutely permitted, but getting everybody's feedback is I'm truly grateful for it. And I'm fine with criticism. So full frame virtual reality. This slide particularly, wait a minute. It stopped. Did you forget that going? Nope. Okay. Here we go. Bam. Full frame virtual reality offering policyholder protection. Who is full frame virtual reality? Founded the company in 2020 after going through the beginning stages of COVID-19, working for attorneys up to that point, and created this based on the technology that you're actually looking at. No, that is not a sci-fi movie screenshot. That is literally the Matterport Pro 2. We'll get into that in a little bit. Created based on the ability to use Matterport as a key component in documenting property loss. So our functionality with virtual reality is truly taking tomorrow's technology and applying it today in a niche market. Who do we work with? Working with mold assessors, contractors, attorneys for over the past 10 years. Full spectrum property loss. Has anybody here had an insurance claim out of curiosity? This guy in the back, keep your hand down, Don. So property loss insurance claim? Okay. Okay, this is the specific niche that we actually work in. The VR side, we're also a private studio. Looking forward to working with Rupert at some point, but we're a private augment virtual reality development studio trying to apply VR to education. That's what we're working on, right? Trying to turn the technology in a very good way. Our newest product is the first slide. It's offered to the general public, 2 qualifiers: if you have an insurance policy and if you have a home or if you rent. If you have those 2, you probably need our service. Okay, so what is the policyholder protection? It's a Matterport clone. By the way, I brought VR today. If anybody's not been inside of a building and VR, we brought the Oculus 2 to kind of help get a feel for that. With the policyholder protection, you get a Matterport clone, you get a professional floor plan, and a 25-point inspection based on what we've actually seen in the field, over 500 claims, and a detailed itemized list of your property. So what about the Matterport clone? The Pro 2 automatically adjusts with the white balance and captures images in 4K. The Pro boasts of a 99% accuracy in its representation of 3D spaces and works up to 15 feet at a time. This is all important for the amount of time that you're in with the client at a client's home, because you're really disrupting the household no matter what kind of household you're looking at. This thing moves through the house very quickly. The software does not allow for alterations of the clone. The Pro 2 is GPS tracked, timed, and date stamped. What does any of that mean to us? Does any of that make sense? Well, it's been proven time and time again, should you need to sue your insurance carrier for proper payment, which happens a lot, this thing has been proven in the court system to be accurate and reliable. This provides visual proof of the condition of the insured property and the items listed. So for everyone that has a home insurance policy, how many people have actually done a pre-inspection to a policy? Down again. All right, not a whole lot of hands going up. So establishing your loss is part of your contractual obligation to your homeowner's insurance policy. You got $500,000 in your mind, and you're thinking, okay, I got $500,000 to fix my home at the worst case scenario. Nobody's established the value before it. Might be a hole in the system, might work against you. So this is what this system actually does. It allows you to measure everything that's captured in the clone, including the scope of flooring, drywall, windows, etc. So part of what can happen is An adjuster comes in, they look at your damage, they pencil whip a floor plan, 1 inch of flooring on a schematic with poor measurements represents thousands of dollars to the homeowner. Thousands. It's crazy, right? So accuracy is everything. So with this process or system, you also get a floor plan, property based on the Pro 2 clone. So the clone is actually overlaid. We create the floor plan. Most, if not all, claims are based on floor plans and inaccurate floor plan, blah, blah, blah. Additional value for the floor plan is working with contractors when remodeling is being considered. So what does that mean? So you get a floor plan, you never use it. You get the clone, you never use it. What do I do with this, right? I paid for this, but we never got hit by a hurricane. You can actually send those links back over to a contractor. You want your wall painted, you want an extension on your home. They never have to come into your house. They can literally virtually go back into your home without messing up your whatever's going on inside the house. Everything's measured. They don't have to come in with a measuring tape. So it simplifies everything. Another part of it is the 25-point inspection. So we based our 25-point inspection on over 500 claims that we've actually completed. Not thought we've completed, but literally got our hands into the middle of it. We were called in to maximize the return on a claim. And we've created an inspection sheet for all of the ridiculous reasons why insurance carriers tend to not pay out. An itemized list of content. This is something new. So if anybody's interested, we're actually giving one of these away. You go to our website, and if you can estimate the value of that particular room, now I put that number up there, but it's not exactly the right number. But if you can estimate the value in that room of the insured items, then you're going to get a free PHP, policyholder protection for renters. And I can tell you on average, what I'm currently seeing is renters policies go for about $30,000, $20,000 to $30,000 in coverage for $10 a month, roughly that much. But you would be amazed at the value of your stuff. The problem is if somebody breaks in or there's a fire, trying to remember that stuff at the time of loss, you're going to lose less, probably 50% of what you remember and its value. So what are the real benefits to what I'm currently offering with the business model? Less time and hassle for your carrier. When and if you need to submit a claim. Time. Our field experience suggests that after a hurricane, specifically, right? That's where I make my money. By using the system, you're likely to save up to 60% of the average claims process time, or about 9 months of waiting on the carrier to fully pay on a claim. It's not that the carrier is a bad part of the system. They just have really poor policies before a major event. So you got to keep that in mind. In the event of a hurricane, you might have your bottles of water, you might have your snacks and sandwiches ready to go. You might be able to live for a couple of months. What we see are on average, 16 months of waiting on a carrier to pay properly. 16 months. So cut that back. Denial of claim. The PHP, the Policyholder Protection Program, assures your carrier that you're prepared and expect them to hold to the responsibility of indemnification. We all know what the word indemnification means. Kind of, sort of. So indemnification refers to, I'm losing this guy's attention. I can feel it. It's okay. Sorry. It's an ambulance. Bright lights, flashy. I get it. So indemnification is bringing you back to your original condition, not buying a jacuzzi, not getting a new fireplace. Indemnification is the responsibility of your carrier to put you back in your original condition, whatever state that was. But how in the hell can you do it? Pardon me. How can you do it if you've never established what the true value was to begin with? A $500,000 policy on the Three Little Pigs straw house doesn't mean nothing. That's maybe $10 worth of straw. So my focus is reactive, preventative, make sure that they have every dollar available that they're owed, that you're owed in the event that something happens. Underpayment is terrible, by the way. It's primarily a result of not being able to prove what was not an issue of maintenance or storm damage. I went out and saw a young lady yesterday in DeLand that the carrier agreed to pay for her roof, $15,000, and then hit her depreciation of $10,000. So because nobody's double checking these guys, literally this woman's going to get $5,000 to redo her roof. $5 grand. This is the kind of thing that my system protects you against. So there's our sales pitch of what we've currently come up with. So we have the PHP, we have the renters, we have the policyholder standard, and we have the policyholders plus. And what we try to do there is we try to put kind of an absorbable budget for each one of the services, right? That are absorbable. Where's it all kept? Do we hand you a stick drive when you're done? Nope, it's all kept on the cloud. Why? Because if you've ever gone through a hurricane, the last thing you want to go looking for is your policy, your driver's license. You're probably trying to find a fridge in the neighbor's, driveway, right? You're trying to figure out what's going on. So having this all centrally stored in another place requires just a phone call or an email to get it over to your carrier. If you send this to your carrier, they're going to know that you just short of being an attorney and ready to pounce on them, you're prepared for the worst. We cover the entire state of Florida. Once we hit the 500 clients, we're at 310 at this point. But once we hit the 500 clients, we're going to go into Texas as our next major land grab, for lack of a better way to do it. But that's our next spot. We have the technology. We have 3 operators in the state of Florida. Anyone that would actually call in and schedule a PHP with us right now, we can get it done in 3 or 4 days and have a finished product within a week. And that's how you get a hold of us. Give me a call, email, or go to Facebook. That's it. Did I make it? Wait a minute. Where are we at? 10 minutes. My bad, guys. 10 minutes.
Okay, we'll start taking questions. Start with Danny.
Just one minor criticism. We can all read. Explain the points rather than reading it to us. You see that? Explain what is that? Maybe like number 1 means, number 2 means, because otherwise you're just going over something we're already reading. It makes no sense. The other thing, how is this different from just going around your house and taking pictures of it?
So the way that this is different is, imagine if you were taking panoramic views and you're wrapping them in a spherical shape, right? What you'll know for sure is if you've gone through an insurance claim / hurricane crisis, people submit photographs all the time, but somehow the damage is actually just out of frame. It's just out of scope. There's a little crack over here, but you were taking pictures with the kids over here, right? It's like, oh, you can see it on the wall. It was clean at one time. Insurance carriers rely on, not intentionally, but they rely on not getting a full image. There's no way for the image not to be full on a clone.
Okay. What's the product? What am I getting? Where's the virtual reality?
I love it. I love it. So the virtual reality is in the clone itself.
Can you show that to me on the screen? Can you show me a model of that? Can you give me something during your presentation that gets me excited about seeing what's going to be sitting in my cloud once I log in and go, whoa, there's my whole house.
I like it. I like it.
I didn't see any of the product there. I just saw a lot of writing with a lot of concept, but not a lot of tangible.
What do you want me to do with 6 minutes? I mean, honestly.
You'd be surprised what you can do in 6 minutes.
You're right. You're right. I should have been able to take you through a walkthrough. I like that. Thanks, Steve.
Okay, we have a question online.
Trevor from Brazil wants to know, does your service replace the need of a public adjuster?
Oh my God. It minimizes the need by 90%. By 90%. You're literally doing the work of the adjuster, the insurance adjuster or public adjuster. You're significantly dropping everybody's workload by taking this precautionary measure. I am a public adjuster.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Do you do outside around the house or just inside?
I do both. Things inside the house, and one of the added benefits is everything inside the house can be measured because we're using LiDAR, right? Everything can be measured. So from the point that I'm standing to that wall, I can go back into the clone and I can measure that distance. Cabinets, anything, door frames, anything. Exterior, no, because you can't LiDAR the entire exterior of your home. It's looking for a measurement for the roof. So visually outside, documented. Internally, your clone.
So I just found out it's a LiDAR based system.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something you want to have in early on in
in the.
It's actually got 9 different scanners on it. So, but you're right, LiDAR is one of them.
Right, okay. AJ?
So you're making a clone of the inside. But,
Yes.
you know, for a variety of reasons, you know, I have, stuff in drawers and in closets and stuff, which represent a significant part of the value of what I have in the house.
Correct.
So that wouldn't be captured if you do this kind of walkthrough. So how do you account for that?
Because every client is custom made. If you called me up and said, look, this is what I want to do, my primary importance is I want to make sure that we're capturing that list. It's happened with other folks, right? It's like the list is the most important thing, then fantastic. What we can do is we can actually open drawers and or put those items on top of it or make them very obvious within the cloning. You're actually juggling. I'm juggling a couple of things when I enter a home, especially after damage, right? People's guards are already up. What I'm juggling is trust. Trust is actually a huge factor when it comes to this. You don't want to put all your Rolexes out for a guy that you just met, right? When I'm called in up to this point, it's usually for loss. This is a new service. It's a disruptive service in this way. Nobody expects the policyholder to prepare for the worst case scenario. That's why there's no inspection on your insurance policy. Pay up. Good luck when you have a claim. Yes, sir.
So if I understand the problem properly, it's the insurance company wants to minimize the claim. They want to minimize the impact. They want to deny you if they can. But then you get the homeowner that wants to maximize the claim. They want success. They want the check. They want recovery, indemnification. So I would just simplify this and say, look, you might have an insurance policy because the insurance policy helps the insurance company, right? It's for the benefit of the insurance company. Where's your homeowner's policy? Do you have one of those? Because that's what you're talking about. You're actually creating something that's in the benefit of the homeowner, where the insurance policy is for the benefit of the insurance company. Just keep it that simple and you explain it, and I think it'll be a lot easier. And then just talk about saving your house before the next disaster. Saving it virtually, right?
Gold, Josh. Gold.
That's
Thank you.
an excellent point. Okay, great.
We got 2 more on the chat. They kind of overlap. Trevor says, what protection do you provide that someone cannot hack your online data to target home theft? Savvy wanted to know, I love the idea. It simplifies the process for consumers. How does a homeowner store and view their cloned space?
I love
So
it.
how can I see it, but how do I keep Rupert from seeing it?
Okay, great. So Matterport they didn't create the technology. It's been there before Matterport ever showed up. Where's the camera? How do I look at these folks?
One
Is
right
that the
there,
camera?
and then there's one that's got to the back.
Okay, so Matterport didn't create the technology, but they have the proprietary software. What they're offering, and by the way, they're not my favorite company when it comes to virtual cloning, but they're the safest. So your clone is published. I can actually track what IP addresses go and actually review the clone, and I can actually shut it down at any point. So if you were to call me up, you were to call the company up and say, Vin, I want to share this with my brother. He loves the house, blah, blah, blah. You can actually send a link over for your clone. In the event you don't want anyone to see it, we can make that happen too. Yeah. So there's definitely protocols and security there.
Yeah, and then Chris has his hand raised.
Yeah, Chris, you're on mute.
Thank you so much, Vincent. I enjoyed your presentation. I have some familiarity not only with the technology, but also use of comparable technology in the insurance space. I'm curious, forgive me if you said it and I missed it, but what is an average price for you to scan a home?
Love it. So apartments go for a couple of $100, close to 300. Single family homes, the standard package is 4, and then the deluxe is 5. Deluxe only because exterior buildings, additional stuff, right? So that's the price point. What do you think about that?
Well, I guess as a consumer, that seems reasonable to me. I'm also curious, I'm familiar with Matterport and the value add.
Nice.
Has-
And you're a Unity guy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So yeah, we work with Matterport. In fact, they scanned our San Francisco office for us, and we used their stuff in demos. So it's a brilliant company, brilliant technology. I was curious, have you explored? I don't know the insurance space, so forgive me, but I may be naive. Have you explored this service in a B2B fashion for insurance to commercial renters or offices and that kind of stuff?
It's fascinating. I just had a friend, thanks, Eric. I just had a friend connect me with a property management group. So there's some work to do in there. I'm not familiar with that part of it, though. I can tell you that my services as a public adjuster have been used extensively with the Matterport. The insurance, as Don can tell you, commercial insurance and residential insurance, two totally different animals. One is monitored like crazy. The other one is just, you're in the grass. We're going to cut you and consume you.
Got it. Makes sense. I'll say one last thing and then I'll hand it back over.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you know of a company named Hosta, Hosta AI, but if you check them out, they're in some ways competing. I think the market's huge, by the way. So I think you're tapping into something amazing, and it could be revolutionary in how these assessments are done, not only after damage, but also for making a more accurate assessment of the home, and therefore the premiums can be more accurate. That's sort of their business model, is how to enable the consumer to get better rates from the insurance provider. And they're using, phone scans as opposed to Matterport, but they're also tacking on computer vision technologies as they can. And you might look at it with a LiDAR scan. I figured that was how you're getting your floor plan sizes, because it is a perfect measurement. Just look at them and see what they do too. You might get a few ideas, but I think you're headed in an amazing direction. I think you got something pretty awesome here.
Oh, thanks, Chris. I appreciate that.
I think you have amazing knowledge. You're spending too much time on a solution. The business you are in is most likely for giving a peace of mind and protecting the wealth. And those are the two things. And maybe you may want to focus that when people buy the property. If I buy $1 million house, immediately should get to me and tell the importance of this and try to catch early on. That way you can do the easiest way rather than going through all these solutions.
Thank you. Makes sense. Yes, sir, Josh.
So I like that what Chris said about commercial space, but even if you just help landlords pre and post renter,
Yes.
that by itself has got to be a multi-billion-dollar market. Just to be able to take the snapshot before and after and give them proof of what,
Genius.
just for rent.
Genius.
What is your number one business challenge in your opinion? Moving forward, if you're growing this.
Education. Going from the passionate, how do I get you to understand what's really going on? I'd like to think that I'm above the cut because I get to spend daily, right? I get to spend, this is what can save you. This is what can save you. But the truth of the matter is, like about last week, and it might have been after talking to you, I looked at my car insurance policy. Right. And I realized that I'm as ignorant as everyone else when it comes to a solution to a problem I don't even realize. I'm literally handing over my wallet and my headspace to a game that's been played a lot longer than I've been around. You assume that your policy is going to protect you, right? It doesn't. Yes, sir.
The stuff that you don't think about, because I have the paperwork. Well, you did at my house, and I have the paperwork long ago because I figured out if I got robbed. What people don't realize, when you talk apartments, you talk renters insurance. If you go up here, we have tons of students in Orlando. I will tell you 95% of them totally have the wrong freaking insurance. And why is that? Because when mom and dad bring them here, the lady behind the desk goes, oh, and it's an extra $50 for your renter's insurance. Guess what that covers? Wow. It covers their apartment. It does not cover when their TV gets stolen. They're responsible for insuring that. But that lady behind the desk is never going to tell them that. And so when people get homeowners from us, first question we ask, when was your last inspection? Oh, I haven't had an inspection. I'm fine. I don't need it. Okay, I'll have the inspector call you today. What? Because if you're not current, now you've got a problem. Insurance companies are not in the business of paying claims. They're in the business of making money. If you were in their business, you would do exactly the same thing. Don't be absurd, okay? You don't want to pay for something that isn't for real. And so maintenance on your home is every bit as critical as your car. When the storm comes, if you can't prove you had that 80-inch super digital 4K TV and just a bunch of pieces isn't proof of it, you have a serious, serious problem. Everybody here needs to think about when this stuff, like you said, the drawers, right? You get to make that choice. When he came to my house, I had a few things in drawers and other stuff, and you either decide to open that up and let them know where you don't. But maintenance is, and this is part of the maintenance on your properties. And on the commercial side, yes, critical stuff, whole different world.
So I have a question. So
Josh is the polite one with his hand out.
I
Just gonna
understand.
say.
But he already asked the question.
I know. Okay.
So I've been involved in introducing technologies to a lot of different organizations in industry. So how ready is the insurance agents, companies and carriers and so forth? How ready are they to accept and utilize the information that you're providing?
I love it. So when you submit this to your carrier, which literally just happened a little while ago, they're assuming that you're working with an attorney. The internal mechanisms of a carrier are as follows. They have phone operators that take your calls when you put a claim in. They quickly breeze through your policy, and they'll potentially say that's not covered or is covered instantly on the phone. That's step number one. If you're being represented by a public adjuster, your policy gets moved up to another level of adjusters internally to better handle what a public adjuster does, right? They've already got an adjuster. If you got an attorney, oh boy, now you get moved up to another level of adjuster that's much nicer than the other two and processes you a lot quicker. So you look like you know what you're doing with this setup.
Well, what about the data and the other stuff that you're providing, the files and everything else that you're providing?
That data will go directly over to their field adjuster. You'll be giving them a gift of clarity. You'll give them a gift of clarity. They won't doubt the value of your home. They don't have to doubt it, which means that they're going to pay attention to every detail. Plus, you already got the floor plan. You got everything measured out for them. All they have to do is find the broken stuff. So you're more likely to not hire an attorney or a public adjuster with this package. Everybody gets to do their job right. Yes, sir.
You got Caesar and Corey, who were the Blockchester guys, so you should be. These are blockchain guys, what did I say? Blockchester? What's a blockchain guy?
That is what it is called from now on.
We need to start. We need to start
Blockchester.
Yeah.
The other thing is, are you working with any of the major realtors? They're selling new homes all the time. You
So-
should be working with all of them.
So when the market goes up, don't fix what's not broken, right? So I'm literally a problem. If I go to a realtor and say, hey, I got the matter part, I got this and that, they're like, hey, I got clients, and that's one more step I don't have to do until before closing, right? No realtor wants to talk to me right now. Oh, I got a guy that does that. No. You might have a guy with a camera, but you don't have a guy that does this. This is protecting your client. It's funny because now the market's going down a little bit and they're looking for shtick. They're looking for a way to identify themselves as the realtor. Now I'm getting people that are interested in talking and having conversations. So, okay, Josh, I'm so sorry.
Yes.
So I just want to say I agree with everything Don said completely, and that's a great segue for my question. Which is, yes, you may. Absolutely. Don is a genius.
He's gonna pass it to his wife.
Okay. So your business model, it seems like it's a one-time thing, if I remember from your slide.
Correct.
Like you charge once and that's it.
That's it.
Why is this not a subscription model where every single year you get to go in and update their clone and give them a newsletter, partner discounts, all these things? You got an amazing, you're leaving tons of money on the table.
Yes.
If you're not automatically servicing them every single year and updating and giving them this. And then bam, now you've just got this amazing service going.
So within the structure of my business, I have a follow-up call every 2 years. It's a follow-up call for every 2 years.
They already forgot you.
I catch a rash every time I see a subscription. I look and I try form 32ZX. You'll catch all of your clients' information. I'm like, all right, I'll buy that for a couple of $100, $10 monthly subscription. I'm getting so sick of subscriptions. They make me nauseous. You better have something. Sorry.
But what do you offer as an option?
Mercedes is selling an $18 a month subscription to heated seats now.
But even if you offer as an option, you don't make it required. You can do a one-time payment, get it over with. But if you do the subscription,
Okay.
maybe it saves them 10%, 15% every single year. And now you've got them locked in. They haven't forgotten about you when you call them. Does that guarantee you in 2 years?
Yeah.
Who the hell are you?
Really?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, not only that, but a subscription drastically increases your monthly cash flows,
Absolutely.
which is really.
I'll absorb that. You see me resisting, right?
You just took a deep breath. I think
AJ?
So, like Danny was talking about, I was more thinking about the large home builders. You know, they do 100 homes at a time. And wouldn't you be able to, it's more efficient to do a whole neighborhood.
Yeah.
At a time, wouldn't you be able to give somewhat of a discount to a home builder? And even better, if you could roll the fee into the mortgage. Work with them to have that fee rolled into the mortgage,
Right.
because then it doesn't.
Like, so, they do a deal with the carrier to subsidize
They don't like me.
this.
They don't
They don't like
think
you.
they're gonna pay for that.
So who in the industry would like you? So just policy, nobody on any other aspect of it?
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I have my public adjusting license. I earn 10% of your claim. 10%. I can make 10 grand on a $100,000 claim for what? Evaluating damage. 10 grand over here. Right? You're stuck as a homeowner. Insurance carrier's not doing anything for you. I get to be this guy. I'm literally trying to take, I saw that, Eric. I'm literally trying to take what I've learned and trying to extend it out to people before the loss hits at a price that will allow me to put gas in my car and expand the business out a little bit. People should not have to dread their policy or have to be blind and ignorant to it in order to get through life. But if you're forced to buy something through social conditioning, right? Finances, if you're forced to buy this damn thing, let's make it work. Let's make it work for you, not against you.
Okay, last question.
So I have a service on one of the properties called Florida Home Shield Warranty. You've probably heard of it.
Okay.
They replace little things like pool pumps, dishwashers, your AC handler, things like that. They offer a program that's a business to consumer program. Have you thought of a go-to-market strategy where you partner with them and they sell your service for you? Because this is like insurance for insurance. So policyholders and all those people, they already get it. They're like, you know, I'm one of those that if I see Apple Care Plus and then there's a plus, I'm going to go with the plus. So
That's what I was talking about.
yeah. So a business to consumer channel where you're not really doing the work and educating people. It's already Florida Home Shield who has the captive audience, and this is an add-on benefit now.
Thank you. You just made me aware of that.
Yeah, great question. So I hope you found some value in this. So the
Thank
last,
you, everybody.
the last question,
These guys.
the last question is always, what can we as a community do to help you?
If you know anyone with a policy, send them my way. All kidding aside, get the word out there. Work with Don. If nobody works with Don, he's the other side of how the structure works, right? He sells it. I protect on some level and provide some pushback. I gotten some really good stuff from everybody here, so very much appreciated, right? Real people and getting some real stuff. But yeah, if you know anyone that's going through insurance situations or conditions, give me a call. Yeah.
Okay.
You know.
All right.
I'd like to, Rupert, I'd like to jump in real quick.
Chris?
Yeah, so apologies. So Vincent, in that spirit, I have a single family home and I'm actually interested in you doing this with my house. So why don't we get together somehow? I'll give you my email address. I'd like you to come over, do a scan, and I'd like to just see how this affects my insurance provider. So I guess one thing you're walking away from today is if you can get me around $300, $350 for a scan, then I'd like to explore this with you and I'll be your customer.
Beautiful, man. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Chris.
Good job, man. Thanks.
Thanks.
So we have about 12 minutes left and we wanted to take this opportunity to offer each of you the opportunity. I love that word, opportunity, to ask questions. Does anybody have any problems that they're dealing with or have any questions about their business that's keeping them up at night? Is there something that any other one of us can help you with? We got anything?
Sort of gonna ask me anything.
Ask me
Round
anything?
table
Yeah,
from last week.
ask me anything, yeah.
Let's put Rupert on the spot.
Okay, Denny.
Well, I can get Augusta Bovar to come here and talk about crowdfunding. They recently raised the limits to $5 million, but the problem is his wife is due within 2 or 3 weeks. Do you want to hold off until she's had the baby?
Will she bring the baby?
Well, you've already had one false alarm. So it's kind of concerning. In other words, it could happen at any day. She's really due at the end of the month, but it could happen today. What do you think, Josh? Your call.
Have they applied to present yet?
But they haven't applied.
No, I'll apply for him to present today.
Yeah, it's open.
What do you want to do with it though? Because he's going to act.
Well, he's got to be on the schedule. He's not on the scheduler at the moment, but yeah,
Well, let's schedule it for after the baby.
yeah.
So sometime early August, all right?
Yeah, just they have to start by applying to present. That's the first step. We don't know anything
We
about
know when we're
anything
here. I
until
don't
then.
know when they
Yeah,
want to do it.
yeah, we don't know anything about anything until then.
Marketing stuff, anybody seen anybody that geo-targeting that actually works, or texting that can narrow down to the demographics that you need rather than blasting everybody in Orlando at 5 p.m.?
Well, I know from working in social media enough to make it dangerous, that they do offer the ability to fine tune, like most people in social media, for example, marketers do what we call A/B testing, where and if you're familiar with it, it's basically they come up with a different 2 different sets of target markets. And then they see what kind of results they get from those, and then they start fine tuning each one until they finally get one that's, and you could do that for like, $10 a week to start, and then going up to 20, 30, and then your final one's maybe $100 a week or so. And then that should be the one that's generating really good, numbers for you. What I don't like is that, Facebook especially has basically making it harder and harder and harder for small businesses to be able to do that, and to get value for their marketing dollars. So it's really, I don't know, there's other people here that are a hell of a lot better and more knowledgeable about social media stuff than I am, but see.
Does anybody use direct mail marketing? And if so, does it work?
Oh, yeah.
What's the return?
Yep.
Is there somebody you can refer me to be able to maybe?
I think Don can. There's a number of companies here in town. The typical return rate is 2 to 3%.
Tell you how to double it. You ready? We use a thing called voice shot. Now, the limitation to voice shot is you can't randomly use this on the free world. It has to go into a group that is your group, meaning that we have a database of people. Okay. But a good example is last week, we got a 10% hit. So we did a direct mail, a specific card, and ran the voice shot right behind it. You could run it ahead of it, you could run it behind it. What voice shot does is this: you've got 500 phone numbers. It's nothing but phone numbers, no names, no zip. You got 500 phone numbers. These are the people you mailed the card to. All right, so you tell voice shot, okay, I'm going to record the message. It's your voice. You sign a disclaimer that says you know these people, blah, blah, blah. All right, and so when we say in front or behind, meaning that we either make the phone call before they get the card or we make it after. I kind of like to do it after. So we mail the card on Monday, you're going to get the card on Wednesday. Wednesday at 3 o'clock, we voice shot 500 people. Now, you have to be very careful, because what people tend to do is your caller ID is on there, and this will go into their voicemail or they'll answer the phone. But people don't really listen to the voicemail. They see the number and they recognize it, or they may not, and they go ding, and we used it one time, they shut our phone down. That many people called. We got a 10% hit. We're getting ready to do it again this week. And you can use it for a variety of things. People you've worked with before, people that have contacted you at some point. It's incredibly cheap. It's payments. And what happens is you can do 500 people in less than 5 minutes. Because it's digital. They just go zing and the whole thing goes out. But if we got 10% on our direct mail.
Could you slow that down? I mean, if it slams your phone, can't you have it drip like?
Well, that's why we don't send it out to 2,000 people anymore. Now we try and keep it down to a couple hundred at a time. And you can say it can be 200 at 2 o'clock, 200 at 3 o'clock. But the new girl in our office, she was like, wow, I can't believe this. I do this every day. Well, there's a lot that goes into it.
Right.
Where your direct mails go, that, but if you have a question, it's voiceshot.com. Check it out. It's inexpensive. It's using direct mail.
It's something you have to set up yourself.
That's an interesting thing. There's other tactics too that people are using, like putting QR codes, because you have to have a good call to action and so forth to get people to respond. Denny, you have one
How
other
many of you
thing?
here know Chuck Fryhoff?
Sorry?
How many of you know Chuck Fryhoff? I know some of the
Oh,
people here.
yeah, I've met him, but
Chuck has one of the best data marketing firms in the United States. He can tell you who on a certain block collects comic books, stuff like that.
Mhm.
I mean, would he be a potential program for us? I mean, a lot of things that he can do. And I think it's fascinating information.
yeah, that'd be nice to have.
Okay, I'll do that too.
We got Josh, did you have?
I was gonna say, just another way to double those numbers is to have a clear brand and very compelling message. Because it's one thing, remember, that's the delivery system is the voicemail, but what do you say on it, right? What's on your flyer, what's on your direct mail? That also is another way to really create.
Yeah, if you have a flyer that says, that asks a question, and then the
Yeah.
voicemail answers the question, then asks the
I
follow-up
don't think so.
question.
I'll say it. He's correct.
Yeah.
Because what we do is we use the girls in the office and they put their name right on there. And this is Julie, the person that did your homeowner's insurance. You left something out relative. That's why I think they got.
Say that again, say that was correct. but I'm not gonna put that.
He's got it back there. We're gonna get copies.
It's a mutual admiration society back there, yeah.
The universe must be coming to an end. Both are
Okay.
true.
Anybody else have any other questions? Got any online?
That idea worked for the local police. They were looking for all these people and they sent out saying, you got this, you just won the lottery, come on down. And they're just one by one, get arrested by.
Yeah.
Smart way to get it.
Hey, there's a good.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're discussing, one of the things the board is discussing is having an Ask an Entrepreneur type of panel once a month or every couple of weeks. Like for examples, for like today where we have one presenter. And so we're canvassing, we're going to start canvassing our previous presenters and invite them first to come in and be like a 3-person panel. And then we're going to come up with a curriculum of different types of questions to ask each time. Marketing, capital, human resources, risk, et cetera, and then that way, and then we can put that on the website and our social media so people will see, hey, maybe that's the week we want to come in for the first time, hopefully not the last. So we would appreciate any feedback or anything like that from each of you as well. But that would basically not only showcase these presenters again, it would also, bring some seasoned entrepreneurs up here and to really, provide a better perspective to things. Yeah.
Could you get like the last 6 months and put all those people in there one time so they could give us an update? How'd you do? How you been doing? How's things progressing? The last 90, pick a point in time
Yeah.
and pull each of those people and say, we're going to park in the Zoom thing, and you can give us an update on how you're doing.
Well, we do ask former presenters to do that. If they've been more than 6 months since they presented, that's when we can start canvassing it again. So we do that to a certain extent, but manpower is a little light. But yeah, well, that's definitely on the docket.
One of my customers do that. Kind of like a mass. Because it's all in the system, right?
Yeah, they leave it up to the chat, the
But for
communities
me
to
to
do
get
it.
access to these folks, I have to go one by one to get their email.
Yeah.
To their accounts, and it's a big pain.
Well, see, that's why I kept a spreadsheet of all that information. So I had that data. And then that way I was going out, that's how I was growing it, So, but that takes work. That takes a lot of work. I was averaging at least 10 hours a week. Okay, we got 2 minutes left. Anybody want to have one last minute thing that they wanted to add, or anything anybody wants to share about their business? Wins, losses.
I'm always excited at the end, and I blame it on the coffee guy. Oh.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, well, but I guess we'll just wrap up this week's meeting. Thank you all for coming. And thank you very much, the people online as well for attending. And we're looking forward to next week. And what do we have next week?
Don't know yet.
Don't know yet? Okay.
I've got one last thing, Rupert.
What?
If anybody knows of anybody, either in their family or a friend who has either bed sores or diabetic sores, let me know. We got something, not only will help cure them, but they can make some money with. Okay, and it's not selling anything. Just so you're aware of that.
Okay, well, great. So thank you, everybody. Hope to see you all next week. Have a wonderful rest of your week.